coding with what, Adrian and Eric? Is that what we're calling these, or killer video hack session?
Yeah, something like
Whatever
that.
we've decided on.
Yeah, no Node.js debugging. That's kind of
Yeah,
what I was telling
basically.
people today. It's going to be some debugging. Um,
Yeah. So before we get into that here, my screen switches are all on this horrible delay, and that is really weird. It is.
love your police box there flying through space, for the
Yeah. Right.
doctor.
So, we're still kind of on step one of our Trello card. This is the public facing, like you guys can go out and look at this Trello board, see what we're actually doing for development. We're still on this step right here, which is actually, we should probably rename this to like refactor JRPC code because that's probably more accurate. To
Refactor G. Yeah, that is kind of more accurate, isn't it?
Yeah, so I will. There we go. Okay, so we're still on that piece. We got a good bit of progress last time where it compiles. Hey,
That's a
it's
good starting
fantastic.
point.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah,
stuff to
that's
compile.
like the basic bar that you got to hit before you do anything else. So we got that, and now we're troubleshooting some errors. So without further ado, I'll just kind of review this real quick. So we have our old UI that we're trying to bring to our new UI. That was the old one up there. It's loading. I don't currently have all the backend stuff running, so you're not actually going to see any videos here. It's just going to spin for forever. But they're fairly similar. This is the new UI. Obviously, some of the formatting's off. See a couple different buttons. That's basically because we'll be reworking it. I'm going to go ahead and kill the old one here now that I've shown that. I need to refresh view. Yeah, kinematic is awesome, but it doesn't always have current data. So if you're not thinking about hitting refresh every time you go into it, it can cause some pain and agony. All right, so let's just make sure we're all still up right here, and we're good. All right.
I still strongly encourage everyone to uh, use the Docker CLI a lot in
Oh yeah,
in
for sure.
in inclusion of the Kitematic thing. Just because you have to get the updated stuff when you're using the CLI. So if you want to always make sure you got updated status, the CLI is the place to go.
Right, and we can verify right there. The web is down. So cool. All right, so going back to our error, this is where we ended last time, I believe, or pretty close to it. Basically, we had a undefined service name. We can see our error right there, or I should say our error handling right there. Um, so my theory is, and this is purely speculation and hearsay at this point, is that our web app, our new front end, is not actually registering correctly. So when we go to, for example, I've got to remember the port number. Let me look it up. Oh, and then we have the same thing we were dealing with last time where I'm trying to get rid of the little chat bar that covers up all my stuff at the top. Hide video panel. Nope, that's not it. Optimize for full screen video clip. Hey, there we go. All right. Where was I going? Schema, resolvers, gRPC extension, gRPC client. All right, we need to actually go into the etcd stuff so I can actually pull what our port number is because we have it, that whole static coded thing that we talked about last time. So I can go in here and go to key, v2 keys, Killrvideo services, and this will spit back everything here. So in theory, we should be able to see undefined somewhere on this page. I'm not seeing it, so just to make sure I'm not blind. Yep, it's not here. Interesting. Do we have any blank spaces, or call it out if you see it too? I'm not seeing it right off the bat here. Key directory. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That is good.
What are you
see.
checking right
Yeah.
now?
So basically I was checking. So you see how all of these have their like Killrvideo services, Killrvideo service is etcd,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
DSC
can you zoom
server,
in?
like all that stuff. Oh yeah, my bad.
No worries. Sonic DMG is just, he can't see stuff, so he wants
Well,
us
yeah,
to make it
he's
big.
blind in general though too. Yeah, we don't like that guy. Um,
You don't like him. I love him. I think he's
yeah,
the bee's knees cheese, whatever that's. I don't know what the
there you
saying
go.
is.
Wait, should we be switching this around because he's technically my boss now? So,
Oh, is he? Oh.
all right. Yeah. So basically, the deal here is we do not have an undefined service. That's what I was checking for. So, if we had one that was key and then like empty quotes or something, that would be, fairly smoking gun
Yeah.
of what we were looking for. But it appears to not be the case. So that leaves us in a somewhat interesting state where now we have to go troubleshoot this further. And oops, the video bar thing came up. Stop that. Optimize. Oh, that so gets in the way.
Sonic DMG just asked, what's the actual issue?
Yeah, so essentially what's going on here, when we start up the GraphQL portion, so the web portion starts up fine, we're good there. The old Killrvideo Java generator, all that stuff starts up, we're good. When we go and we take the GraphQL server portion of it, the part that gives us this playground UI right here,
Right.
it spits back a pretty big error that essentially is saying I'm not finding the service of undefined. So that we see right here, where we see service with name undefined has not been loaded. So we have to diagnose in our error handling, which is in gRPC client right here. There's a fully qualified name that is undefined. Is essentially where we're at, and that's basically all we know at the moment. I was just checking in the etcd to see if there was like an empty quotes in there, so that we know if if
Right.
undefined. We're trying to basically trace it back. So
IntelliJ don't zoom. No, actually, you
what?
know
It
what?
might. Let
It
me.
it does, but you have to go into settings, and you have to turn the zoom feature on. So go
Okay.
click on the IntelliJ item
Preferences.
thing. Yeah, go to preferences.
Okay. And if that decides to load,
It'll take a second.
there we go.
And then one of the things you can do is do search for font. Just put font. And then somewhere in here, there is an option. You can make the fonts bigger for one, which I always set it to a default of like 20, especially for streaming, just because you can see everything way better. Yeah, so override defaults right there.
Font size.
So go up. You have to click the override. Yeah, and then forget that font size because that's only in Preso mode. I don't even actually remember how to get to Preso mode, but go up and change that font size 12 to 20.
Apply
and then go back to the search.
Whoa, everything just.
Yeah, there you go. It'll take a second to do its shindig. Yeah, and then just go back. Is that all it's showing? Is just that one setting? Type font again, see if it shows other ones. Because it should just show just the font items. Oh, there it goes. So then go down to, font there. And
size is blank.
Yeah, so click in it.
It definitely expanded. Oh, I see.
Yeah, click in that and just put, do Control A to select all and then type 20.
Oh, what just happened?
Yeah, because there's actually a font size in there. I think it just goofed up the.
All right. 20.
Yeah, there you go. Put 20 in there. Holy bananas, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not
for this.
Maybe not 20. Maybe put just 16.
16. All right.
Yeah, that's good enough for now. Because the other thing is in I think general, one of those general settings, there's an option to use control and scroll.
Yeah, let's do that instead. Is there a way to default this? What was the defaults?
The default was 12.
Okay, so change that back and go back to appearance. Size was 12 here as well.
Yeah.
Apply, and then we should be able to use.
Well, that isn't going to change. The one you just changed.
Oh, gotcha.
So
we need
like,
to do-
yeah, that one needs to be bigger just because otherwise you can't see what menu items you're clicking on and stuff,
okay,
or people can't see
here, I
it.
should be able to command plus, I would assume.
Yeah, so here you command plus or command scrolly wheel.
Whoa, it happens all at
Yeah,
once.
there you
Okay.
go. Yep, I definitely see that that's a constant. Perfect.
Like instantly really big. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Gigantor mode.
All right. So actually, I'm going to zoom out just a little so we can get. Is that visible to you pretty easily?
That's good for me. I mean, I could see it the other side, so, but
Cool.
I have nerd eyeballs. I'm lucky like that.
Sonic, how's that for you? How about? You'll have to see chat. I got no chat box here. So.
Yeah, he says it's thumbs up. He gave
Okay,
us a
cool.
yay. So there
Awesome.
we are.
All right. So, kind of back where we're at. So we have to troubleshoot where in the stack this is actually happening from. So, yeah, that's where my current knowledge ends, and your wisdom, I think, begins. Hopefully.
Oh, my wisdom. Oh, you got an email.
This is in the I don't know how to mute that one. I wish I did. The get gRPC client async portion. So this is where we're actually going out, or I should say the step where we're actually going out and we're saying, okay, give me all my basically communication endpoints.
Yeah.
And it's going through a list, and one of them is undefined. So the etcd is how we define services, and then we go out to the services and ask them for their endpoints, from my understanding.
Yeah, Sonic is saying, wonder if it's related to the gRPC port.
The default gRPC port. What was the gRPC port? We defined that somewhere last time, I believe.
Also, I'm curious in this bit of code, that error we're getting, is it one that we define and we throw, or is it something that the library is throwing?
Yes, that is one we define. So that error, the one, where is it here?
It's that one.
Yep, service with name undefined has not been loaded is literally a service with name, fully qualified name, has not been loaded. Okay. So we are hitting that right there.
Put a debug on the if line.
Yep.
And we don't need to have a build, so we can't run to
that.
We need to add a build.
Yeah, you're right.
But I was just thinking if we do, there's nothing on our little drop down.
So yeah, we're not running it through there though. Maybe that's the problem. In my package JSON, here we go. So when I do my run dev, actually we can do run build. We actually do a run npm run clean, make directory, all that.
Right.
And the Babel right there is actually our build. So.
Yeah, but that doesn't give us debug. That's the inherent problem. At least not in IntelliJ. We'd have to set up an IntelliJ build.
Okay, let's maybe do that then. What should I be doing for that? I'm not too familiar.
Well, the question is so that npm run clean make dir prod blah 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 that whole thing, is that what we have to run every single time when we run the app, or is there something more clean, just like npm run? Can we just do an npm run for this?
Npm run dev will run this guy right here, and I can actually show you what is in there because that's a whole nice little script that we cooked up special. So dev, which is basically our Babel compiler, which Babel is what handles ES6 down into something that actual browsers understand.
Yeah.
It's what do we call it? A transpiler or something. Like it's not a compiler. It's not actually compiling it in one sense. It's just transliterating, more or less.
Yeah. So
Sonic our index.
Asked, has the Node.js backend connected to the cluster? I believe it has. Did you bring your towel?
So actually, that is kind of the step after what we're doing right now that we would be trying to troubleshoot. Um, the step right now is preventing us from knowing the answer to that question 100%. But in theory, yes. In
Yeah.
theory, as far as we know.
When we did something previously too, where it's spun up and it looks like it's connected from kind of an operational point of view, but for some reason we haven't even gotten to the point where we can determine from this app point of view.
Right.
So,
One thing we could actually do, and this just hit me, in the gRPC client code, that fully qualified name, obviously we're calling this like quite a few times to get all of our different endpoints, right?
yeah,
Why don't we just console log and print out what endpoints we're hitting, and maybe that can provide insight.
that may not work.
Okay.
Well, one, because you have to go and make sure that it's actually going to print out the console. And since we're in the middle of
down here.
Well, yeah, except aren't we in a promise somewhere? Yeah, promise.method. So yeah, it may not print out to the console.
Oh.
But if we get a debug and we stop at if, we should get the values of whatever variables and such are created at that point in time.
I see.
Yeah.
That actually makes a ton of sense.
So if you click the little down arrow thing up on the top bar there.
Edit configurations?
Yeah, edit configurations.
Okay.
And then there should be, if I remember correctly, forget defaults. I always do that. But click the plus up at the top. Yeah. And it's going to give you the same list. But we should have an NPM thing if the NPM stuff is loaded. There's NPM.
NPM.
Yeah, so
Command
pick
run.
that.
Okay.
And then
scripts
run.
would be what we had in our package JSON, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or we put dev there.
Scripts. Oh, dev. Okay.
Or we put dev in arguments. That might be the case.
Okay. Do we want to try it this way, or which one are we? Which one are we going for?
Don't do scripts yet.
Actually referencing our package JSON.
Yeah, it has to do that just from the NPM because NPM has to know where that's at.
So that's our script name. We have like 4 different scripts in there right now. So that's how we define the script it's running. And then I suppose an argument would be like a custom if I had some flags in there or something that I could. So I think this should be right.
Yeah, it's either that or the argument is dev.
Okay.
Because it's here. It says app dev. Yeah, I think it's actually an argument. But go ahead and try this and just see if it works. Just hit apply, okay, and
okay, and then
just give it a second, and it'll there it goes. And then just hit the little debug icon.
Okay.
And in like 50 minutes or something, we'll get a debug thing.
Right. Oh, hey.
What does that
say?
Here
we go. To debug dev script, make sure first argument for the node command you'd like to debug. Node debug option, for example.
What?
Interesting. Node debug option. I'm not familiar with node debug options. Node debug options. Server.js.
What is this connection refuse thing? Oh, go click on debug and ignore the console for a second.
Okay, a debugger?
Or the one below. At the bottom? What does that go to?
Oh, that is this.
Oh, it is that?
Yeah.
I wonder why it said console connection refused there. That seems weird. No debug option. Server.js.
Yeah.
I hate node debugging. Whoops, that just slipped right out.
Start the religious war now.
Well, it's always been kind of not very. I mean, it didn't even exist for a while, right? Like you couldn't debug Node.js because you had no instrumentation into the actual running kernel of Node. But anyway, I digress. There's debugging now, so that's what we have to get
Node
working.
interpreter.
So that's right though. That's just the version of Node that we're using.
Yeah, that is.
And neither one of those 10.3 or 10.5 should be fine. It would only write perfect
10.2
code, you would
is-
not need debugging at all. Yeah, I know. If we would write, which we didn't write any of this code, Sonic, but yeah, we need to make more perfect codes, more codes that are perfects.
Right.
So what did that error say again, or the thing that said debug? It said issue
Yeah.
issue the debug variable. So based on that, looking at it, make sure the no debug option string is specified as a first argument.
Yeah, so let's do the good thing and go to our handy dandy search browser. No debug option. Oops, not download. No,
Well,
didn't want to hit
I was
that.
also going to say just add that as an argument.
Oh, and use a because that's an environmental
Yeah.
dealio there.
Well, right, and that. So just pet peeve here. We're looking at this and it's saying start node add the debug option thing. That's an environment variable. Why is it? I mean, it looks like it's an environment variable. Why don't they call it an environment variable? They're saying it's a no debug option string is specified as the first argument. What does that mean?
I'll bet you we have to reference Babel here, because so just like we have the transpiler or the compiler where we take it from ES6
Yeah.
down to something that's actually understandable. We're not doing that in our build command here, except we're calling dev, which is calling this script. I wonder instead of doing that, I'm going to copy this and just see what happens.
Oh, node app dev.
Yep.
Okay.
So scripts. So that's actually our script right there. Node app dev. Let's give that a try. Because I think if I understand what's going on here, I should be able to hit debug and oh, what just happened?
Yeah, yeah, that's not gonna work because you can't just say npm node, right? Because the build
Right.
is
Well,
the
command is
assumption here is
run.
that npm is what's going to run this. So it's whatever npm has to run to make the app run.
So is it quotes npm run node? Yeah, it has to be dev. This does have to be dev, doesn't it? Oh man. Okay. Arguments. So close that. So node debug option server JS, because this is a script. So you see, if I had this right here
Yeah.
is my stack of scripts, right? And if I understand what we're doing correctly, we're basically trying to take one of these and move it up into an actual build command that IntelliJ can use all its brainiac power to provide us cool tooling with. Is that basically it?
Not entirely sure if I followed. Also,
Okay.
syllogistic fact says, does it work if you run instead of debugging? It does not. It doesn't work either way at the moment because it doesn't start.
Actually, it might be working. Give me 1 second. I just clicked the button just to see. Server ready at localhost.
Oh, it does work.
1 second. Let me go and refresh this page and we will know. Looks good. It's loading. Yeah. I am going to say, yep, that definitely worked.
But the debugging doesn't work then.
Whoa, this
Which
actually
is
gave
what
us
we wanted.
more in our errors. Well, it gave us highlighting in our error. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so it's the same error. Yeah, it's the same error,
Yeah.
but it gave us some handy dandy highlighting.
Right, syllogistic fact. That is true. It doesn't give us a breakpoint, but it does prove that the config is on the right track. Like our config isn't breaking the application.
Right, and it did use the correct command there too. Like we know that putting dev there called dev. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had that
Right.
nice little process. So perfect for that. So is the arguments then? Should we try putting the node debug option there?
Yeah, put in that thing, and just say equal something. Just equal 0. Yeah. Yeah, debug that. See what
Stop
it is.
and rerun.
I mean, assigning it 0 is just like a hunch thing for me. What does that say?
So debug script. I wonder if I can expand the text
Oh,
there.
because it took it as 3. It took it as 3 arguments. It's got to be equals 0 in those spaces.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the command parsing cracks me up. It's always different.
There needs to be a standard. Like I'm sure there have been plenty of conversations around that.
You know, I think there are standards. I just don't think everybody knows what they are, so they do different stuff. And thus, we end up with the universe.
Right. So, okay. So node app debug option server ready. Okay. That didn't give us our breakpoint though.
Yeah, I think we should use XML too, Sonic. Hey, Eric, let's rewrite the entire application to use XML. What do you think?
Is there a kick from chat button? I just
there, yeah. Well, let's hear. I think the response is lol. There we go.
all right.
So what was I about to say? I think I just spaced. Oh, so it stopped. It broke. It said process finished with execode 0. So it looks like
we didn't get a step over option though.
Yeah, it didn't get to the breakpoint. It seems like it broke before it got to the breakpoint.
So okay, so this over here shouldn't be running then. If we refresh.
Yeah, I think it should be dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did we break then is the question.
Wait, what?
Server client promise has fully qualified.
Syllogistic fact says this thingy says to put npm run all in your package.json.
npm run all. So
okay. Can you click it or should I send it to you? You don't have chat up, do you?
To me. Yeah. So npm run all. Was that
here, let me
scripts because I definitely
are you in Slack?
do that. Yeah, I'm in Slack. You'll have
here
to
you go. It looks like a good one.
There we go. Try to not show.
Oh, I didn't send it to you. Hold on. I clicked on the wrong person. So Hannah just got my Slack fix message.
You're like, what am I supposed to do with this? Learn it.
Okay, Adrian, so you've gone crazy again. You're sending me crap.
Right.
See you later. Syllogistic fact. Have a good one. Enjoy your night. We'll see you later.
So npm run all. Oh, I see. Okay. npm run all. That's their script name, isn't it? If npm run all starts the app. Yep, that's their script name. So that's the equivalent of where I put dev.
Yeah.
I could literally, just for the sake of argument, I'll actually do it. npm run all. And then I would change my build command.
See you later, Sonic. Have fun in your meeting. So
this essentially would accomplish the same thing. So let me go up here and click that. And you see it goes npm run all, debug option 0. So I'm just going to change that back for now, just for accuracy's sake. But that's basically what was going on there. Dev. It's weird how it's requiring a debug option. Like node debug option. I wonder if there's a standard. Turn runs your app with Node.js to modify the shell script. The goal is to start the node process with debug options. Oh, okay. So instead of saying equals 0, if you look at that Stack Overflow, let's just say that. And then I'm going to go, yes, stop and rerun. And I think it completed. Debug dev script.
Okay. We don't have our debug didn't come up yet.
Server is ready. Okay, so that popped up, but yeah, we didn't get any. Process finished with exit
Oh,
code
there goes
0.
connection refused again.
So what is refused? That's what I'm confused on
I don't know.
here.
Maybe it's not connecting to the database. Maybe that's what the problem is.
So is there a
Like
way we can
Sonic was mentioning.
parse? Because you know, in for example, if I'm doing Java, right, I can go in, set my breakpoint, and get all sorts of info back,
Yeah.
and dig down into data structures and all that stuff. Is there a place I can do that with the node? Um,
Wait,
at
with
all?
the
Yeah, like see my current values and all that.
well,
All
right.
that.
That's what I mean. The debug should give you that, but it's not gonna if it doesn't know where to stop. Like if it can't get to the stop point, you won't get a chance to see all that stuff.
Fair enough.
Because it's when it's refusing the connection, it's stopping the whole process, right?
So the other thing that's confusing me is it definitely completes and runs consistently when we don't use the debug mode. Like, I mean, I was able to navigate to the UI. I was able to,
Yeah.
prove that it was up. So why would it die before it gets to the breakpoint if we're in debug mode? Like, what changes between the two?
Well, I'm assuming that it's dying there because of the same thing that's given us that error,
Oh, I see.
right? Because
Uh,
that error is occurring, and then that's killing the connection.
yeah, but it keeps the connection open when we just run normally.
But is it?
Yeah, it is. I was able to test that earlier. So, if I
Uh,
go, I might have to run the script manually. I'm going to try it with the play button here, but we'll give it a second just to think. Debug option. Server ready. Back over here. GraphQL playground, and there's my GraphQL playground. There's my error, the same one we expected. And my playground is going to work, so I can run my query. And actually, just to show that I am in fact running my query, I'm going to remove that. And I just ran a GraphQL query that worked. So let me add that back in just for completeness. All right, so there we go. It's running, but when we hit debug, it definitely is not. We can. Oh, that's so cool that it highlights stuff now. That is like so much easier than digging through file systems.
yes.
Okay. So, yeah, it is entirely possible that our fully qualified name is just like we're never hitting the server. Problem is in the see where do we get fully qualified name from, right? Fully qualified name. Let's do a quick search. Protobuf. So this is something we were setting. Is it? Cross method, fully qualified name. So a way of promise is an async thing, right? Where we're essentially doing
yes.
I expect to receive this information. And then when I receive this information, I will do like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So fully qualified name here is basically the information I received. Is that correct? Is that a rough correct understanding?
Yeah. So constant is assigned once you. Oh, this is making me actually think about what we're actually trying to do here.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a key piece of the coding
Yeah.
experience.
Well, I was just thinking of like what the code does, not why it's doing it.
Right.
But I just started thinking about that. I'm like, okay. So this
Because
whole
we're
function is a promise that's delivering the fully qualified name to get gRPC client async.
so
I
basically
mean,
when
or fully qualified name is being passed into the method, and then
okay, so
it's
we should probably
working
see
with
where
that.
this is calling the method then, right? We should
What's
see.
calling it right there? But like, who? What is fully qualified domain name? Where do we assign that? That's just above, right?
Uh, let's take a look here. Um, service mode. Yeah, that's just. I think that's just what we're assigning. So wait, we're passing that? We're not.
right? Because you got a parenthesis for the method, so everything's getting passed into it. It's passing. What's happening is a variable, and the function body is a what do you call it? A function that doesn't have a name is being passed in, kind of like a delegate to work with that value.
Right. Okay, so here's the actual in our Apollo server code.
Right.
We're calling get gRPC client async. gRPC API. We're establishing this is the set of connections, basically.
Yeah, I'm a little.
And this could actually be wrong because this part. Oops,
Well, I'm a little fuzzy. Are we? Does this call and execute the function, or is this actually instantiating an inferred object of the function? I.e., saying that data sources is this thing. So when you ask for data sources anywhere, it will then call the function, pass in appropriate parameters or whatever needs to be passed in, and then return to you the thing that should be data sources.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. That is an excellent question. I do not know the answer, but I think I know how we can figure it out. So,
Yeah.
okay. Let's
It's been just long enough. Like I know mostly how this stuff works. I just forget. Like usually like adding, for instance, you can assign a variable a function name. Okay, and if you don't put the parens on it at that time, then it doesn't call the function. It just assigns it to the variable. But then when you ask for the variable, it'll execute the function to get the variable value, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
with the pointer arrow, or they don't call it a pointer arrow, the arrow, the equal shove thingy, in ES6 means you're taking this and putting it into this other thing, and the other thing may be a function or not. So I don't know if parens in that particular context means execute function right now, or execute function later when context might exist.
Yeah, and
Which here, if we scroll up a little bit. Oh wait,
was in the gRPC.
Yeah, in gRPC client, I think. Yeah, here. Scroll up. That was what we were looking at first, where there's the break, right?
Right. So here's our error statement that we're hitting. Right?
Yeah. So just above there, we have constant get gRPC blah, 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 equals the promise.
Mm-hmm.
Is fully qualified name used anywhere above that?
Above that, I do
in this file, like physically, above it.
Let's search up. Yes, it is. Okay, let's.
Okay, and is that a promise too? Probably, maybe.
Yeah, let's see. Function. No, it is
it's a function. Okay, and it is
off monitoring of gRPC client's underlying channel or removes any client from the promise cache if it has a fatal failure. Okay.
So that looks like it's called right there. So check state would have
monitor.
Well, a fully qualified name is passed in right there too.
Right, which this is within our the promise right there. We're actually calling that. So
yeah, well, it's passed in above too, right, in that other function that we just looked at.
Correct, and honestly.
So I'm still curious, like, where is that even assigned?
Right. Well, let's check where this is called, shall we? That's called there. It's got to be called other places too, I would assume. So I'm just gonna run a quick search. Right.
Go for it.
This is actually the only place it appears to be called, as long as we trust IntelliJ.
If you forget that, right click on it and do. What the heck is the thing called? Do find usages. It's up kind of toward the top. 7th from the top. Yeah.
Yep. Got it there.
There we go.
Isn't that the same thing as the shift search?
I don't know what the shift search is, honestly.
Oh, okay. It's a little less structured version of the same thing, I believe. If you tap shift really quick 3 times when you have something highlighted, it goes and searches your project for occurrences,
Ah.
which is really handy. But
So
yeah,
isn't
this
that
is
the
the only
line that we're
place.
on? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So we're basically sitting on a
Wait a second. So it's not called, or it's only called there. Okay.
right. There's
Did
one
catch
occurrence of it,
tap.
and then client. What would client be that we're passing in? Let's try to find that out. Client. What is tap? I'm not familiar with that at all. So you got catch, and then tap.
Right.
Tap is
Oh crap. What exactly does it does? It's the. Well, is that. What version of tap is it? Load, see, then catch, tap. So I remember like in, was it Bluebird or something had tap, which was a library, but I think it's an ES6 now. So I'm going to assume that it does the same thing. That it's kind of like then, but I think it only happens at the end. It's kind of like, let me think of something. Oh, let's say so if you have blah 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 then blah 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 then blah 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 catch, tap is like finally all these bits are done, I do tap.
So okay, maybe there's a fundamental thing I don't understand about then. I've only ever seen it used with a single like then catch. Is how do I ask this? Is then almost like an if else sort of statement? Or is it
Uh,
like or maybe a case statement would be a better way of saying it, or how does it actually function then?
so like if you have multiple, you can have multiple thens, right? And catch is just it's the error trap, right? If something blows up, you go to this thing and then you bomb
Right.
out of the
It's your
promise or whatever.
defaults. Yeah, it's the
Right.
default.
So,
Yeah.
but like with promises and promises structures in JavaScript, that well, not particularly in JavaScript, but in Node, added by libraries that I am aware of. Which is why I was commenting, is tap an ES6 thing now? I don't know what library we're using in here for promises.
No, I think we actually have Bluebird in here. Let me
Is it?
double check.
Because, yeah, I was going to say, like, the way it works with
Yeah,
a
we got
promise
Bluebird.
is you'll say, start doing this thing, and then, i.e., dot then, do this thing, and then dot then do this other thing, and then do this other thing. And each then is basically waiting for the previous one, right? So,
Oh, I see. So it's actually taking in the case where there wasn't an error, like where we, exit status good of the last step, we're going to do this step, and then we're going to do this step, and then we're going to do this step.
right.
And if I error out at any point, then catch is going to kick in. It's the catch-all.
Yeah.
Uh, and then tap is, so what would the point of tap be? Because couldn't I then just throw a then done?
Um, Yeah, I'm
Monitor
still
the
a little fuzzy on
underlying.
tap. It's like then. So I said finally earlier. It's not like finally at all, actually. But
So it's
so
monitor the underlying channel on a client for fatal errors. Okay, I'm
hold on.
looking this up on my
I'm gonna internet it too.
yeah.
Because my memory of what that actually does is super fuzzy.
Tap a function value promise. Essentially like then, except that the value passed is the value returned. Why would
From
you
the
want?
previous then? Or the existing then?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Simple
figure out
statement
why
be
you'd
surrounded by promise.try.
insert tap into a then chain without affecting what is passed through the chain. Oh, got it. Okay, so if think functional programming, and this might be a terrible analogy, but think functional programming, and if you have a big string of thens, and each of them is running some sort of a mutation on something, like we got this value, we're returning the next value in the chain, we're returning the next value in the chain. If you want to run something and return a new value but not affect the value that's passed to the next then, you can use tap, right? So it allows you to get another input for something.
So it leaves it immutable.
Or output, sorry. Yeah, exactly.
And since this code was written in the context of being functional, immutable code, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why we're using tap. That actually makes a ton more sense now. So,
and the other things are basically like the hosts up there. It's just putting together their credentials.
So why
it's building a thing?
Yeah.
And then this is monitor client channel. I don't even know what that's. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think the monitor client channel. I mean, that was up here, right? That was this guy right here. So
yeah.
Get underlying client channel from the client. So channel, get client channel, client. Where are we pulling client from? That's getting passed here. Where do we get client from? Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my brain around this.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, so hosts equals new client constructor. Oh, this makes so much more sense now. Okay, so we got client constructor here, right? So we look up a service, we take what we got back, the hosts, we run our client constructor. So we're actually creating the client object, I guess we'd call it.
Yeah, sort of, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we got our hosts, we got credentials, cool. Then we take that object, that client that was created, and we pass it using the tap right there. We pass it to the monitor client channel. So that's actually sitting there monitoring it. Now, what I can't figure out is if that's not something that just runs all the time, right? That's get underlying channel from client.
Well, I think most of this only runs, only runs one time, right? Because it's putting together the connection.
But why would? So it's putting together the connection, and then it's testing that connection to see if it's good.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. So logging, unexpected error. Yeah, so this is all sorts of error handling. Logger debug channel has. It's monitoring it. Gives us a whole bunch of errors. If fatal equals false, binding. Okay, so that's where we get our ready status. Transient failure. Is this a keyword? What does that highlighting actually mean?
Wait, what? The italics or the purple?
Well, the italics and the purple. Let's go for both.
I think it just means, well, I don't know. It's something IntelliJ is finding, but I'm assuming that it's a kind of like an enumeration.
Okay.
Based off of the connectivity state object, or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is basically a retry, right? So case binding. If you're in a binding state and your failures, we increment your failures. Once your failures hit a certain, whatever the max transient failures number is that we've set, I'm assuming it's probably either set in a library or somewhere above. Not super important where, but as soon as that number is hit, then we are fatal, we break, and okay. And then if finding fatal failure, okay. I have a much better understanding of what we're actually doing here now. This makes a ton of sense.
It's the name of the game. Figuring it out systematically.
Yes. We also have to do this like every week and not like every 3 weeks, because then I have to refresh my mind on.
Yeah, well, we don't have any big things scheduled for a while, so we should be able to do this consistently.
Yeah,
finally.
Except next week.
What's next week?
Time off. I've got Tuesday off, but we can do it later in the week.
Yeah,
we could definitely.
What it? Yeah,
okay, so client promises.
Let's make sure that's scheduled before we get off of this one, and we'll make sure it's on the Twitch events list.
For sure. Okay, so wait for next connectivity state. So yeah, basically all that's doing is it's saying, I've set up this connection. If this connection is in a connecting state, okay, cool. We're gonna handle that. If it doesn't actually end up connecting, then we're gonna kill the connection. We're gonna terminate it, so we don't just have this thing floating out there trying to connect for gajillion years and all that.
Right.
So we're I think that's why he actually used tap instead of then, because he doesn't want to actually mess with the client connection as it stands. Um he wants to kind of handle it in a hands-off approach on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, where the tap comes in. So okay, we got that. We're hitting the catch. So something up here has to be the error then, right? Because const promise something in lookup service async must be failing for us to hit catch. Is that feel like an accurate assertion?
Mostly. uh, what was our error again? Where are we at with the error?
Yeah. So let's go back there.
Because we tried to debug and we can't technically debug.
There we go.
But
So
yeah,
it's a
here we go.
service name with undefined has not been loaded. So when we run lookup service async, that's our promise right there, right? So we got promise equals lookup service async service name. If our service name that we were passing in right here isn't actually defined, that's going to create a problem, right? So if I were to, I don't know if I can do this in JavaScript. I think I can. Let me just try something crazy, all right? Just for the sake of argument and to do it so I can get back to where I am right now. I am going to duplicate, comment one out. Okay. So if we did, I think, is it Cassandra? I think that is a valid service we have. And you know, we can actually check that that's a valid service we have by going too far. That whole delay thing. By going over here, and we can actually check what our service names are. So Killrvideo services, Cassandra. Yes, that is a valid service name. You know what? Just to make sure I didn't fact finger, I'm going to copy paste because I like to be thorough that way. So my theory here is what's going to happen is we're not going to see this error back. We are actually just going to connect to Cassandra over and over and over, however many times this actually runs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to find Cassandra and should return good, basically. So, given the fact it's run, going to rerun. And in theory, this should remove our error. In theory. And this will also test what Sonic was calling out of, are we actually hitting Cassandra?
Yeah.
This will tell us kind of, it's a twofer. Server is ready, and let's see if we get a trace. It traced before now, last time. I think this is progress. So what that tells us is further up the chain, service name is not getting set, right? So if I'm...
Service name or?
Yeah, service name. So in lookup service async, it's being called here. Service name is not being set. So now we need to find service name equals name parts length. I really wish there was a way I could print out what is there.
Well, you could always try the console log.
Fair enough. Let's.
I still think we should make every endeavor to get the stupid debugging working, but
Yeah, no, I am with you there. Let's give this a try. It's gonna spit out the error because I went back over there. You know what? Let me just for simplicity's sake, so that we don't have to sort through multiple errors at once. I'm gonna leave the Cassandra name in there that I know is valid, just so everything we see here will be the error, or will be the console log, if it works. Just ready, and you are correct. The console log did not actually happen.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Frustrating. All right, that's okay. I will move that and comment that back in. So this is debug code. I want to be clear that debug do not leave in Just note for me for later, so I don't, commit a whole bunch of trash code.
Yeah.
Okay. So name parts. Name parts is where are we setting name parts actually? Name parts dot length. Let's take a look at that. Name parts. Search up. Fully qualified name. Oh, there's our favorite friend. Fully qualified name. Split. Dot. Why are we splitting by dot? What is the fully qualified name?
I don't know. That's been my curiosity since we started this.
Right, because that determines everything. So if we're passing, theoretically here, if we're passing nothing
Right.
into this fully qualified name,
Right.
this is the behavior we'd see, right? Because we'd go down, we'd run all our junk there, and voila. So that being the case, service name, name parts, splitting, name length -1. So we're doing some sort of sanitization here. Name length -1. How would that work? Sanitizing name parts, fully qualified name. So fully qualified name in this case, I wonder. I wonder. I'm gonna do the same thing I just did. And let's just see what happens, shall we? Our fully qualified name might or might not work. I doubt this will work, but I want to see. Actually, no, I put that in the wrong spot. I totally put that in the wrong spot. Let me redo that. All right, so in this promise method, fully qualified name, I'm going to change this right here. Boom and boom. Cassandra. I don't think this will work at all, because yeah, that's not a valid way of passing. That's frustrating. Okay. JavaScript is really cool and all the dangerous things it lets you do, but when you're actually testing things, it can actually be really nice. Well, what we could do is fully qualified name, it maps in, so we can just change it manually. I didn't want to do that, but we can do that. Sandra, boom, dot split. Look good? So then we can rerun. And that should... I think this, from my understanding, because split is just creating an array, right? Creates an array with each part that has that delineating. So in this case, the dot. So we had like Cassandra dot something dot something dot something. Each of those different elements in between the dots would end up in an array. And then what we're doing here is taking name parts dot length -1. So name parts we're referencing in that array, which is name parts, which we set there. We're referencing the second to last, basically. So essentially, we're parsing. Actually, this probably won't actually work then, because we'd need Cassandra dot service, and then it would reference Cassandra, and that would return service name, right? So although it did actually run there, which would be very interesting. Curious to see if this is actually up, or if it just thinks it's up. And it's actually up. That's very interesting. Oh, and there we got a trace. Source undefined. Okay, so it didn't like my service name, which is fine. That would actually be expected. With this structure, though, it should actually detect the service correctly. Bear in mind, we're hard coding it, so this isn't, valid for our long-term use. But give it a second here. So there's that. Server ready. Over here, refresh. Just because I like to be really certain I know exactly what's going on. So that worked, and I come back here, and it's still traced. Okay, that is not the behavior I expected. Service name undefined is not been loaded. That should not have been undefined at that point, right? Service name should have been Cassandra. And totally did not copy that before I changed things, which is really bad practice. But sorry for everyone. My brain got going quicker than my one part of my brain got going quicker than the other. Okay, so look up service async. Service name is still undefined. Why would that be undefined? Is there a whiteboard thing that we can use here? Because
I think there is in the vid chat stuff we're using. By the way, do you ever use git stash?
I am not familiar. Please
Ah,
educate.
so like basically with git stash, you can do little incremental changes, and basically it records the state of the current working directory and stuff, of where you're at, so you can do commits and pulls and things like that. But then basically you do git stash, and then what is it? Git stash. No, I forget the freaking command. Git stash pop, I think, where it'll put it back out. So like basically you can do git and pulls, like if you're working with other people, but also let's say you start to do an edit, and you're like, well, okay, do an edit, and you're kind of stashing it as you go, and then you're like, okay, I didn't like the edit, I can just trash my stash and go back to what I started with.
That's kind of nifty.
Yeah, so it's like another way to do it, and then you don't have to like leave commented code everywhere either.
Yeah, that definitely. Huh. My internet connection is unstable. Do you see the message when it pops up there?
I saw something pop up. The other thing cool about git stash is like, unlike when you go, you can do a whole branch, like you can stash a branch too, but you can like do smaller bits instead of having to go do an entire branch, do a bunch of stuff, and then you're like, well, okay, now I don't even want the whole branch, right? So you like trash the whole branch, and that's kind of a bummer. It's nice sometimes to just be able to make little small incremental changes, like a few configuration changes, tweak something, and then if you like it, cool, you can pop it back out and then just do a push, or you can just leave your stash and trash it, right? So
I see.
just another
I'll
option.
have to look into that later. I don't necessarily feel comfortable doing that now. I've had so many oh no, I broke the GitHub.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, well, and that's the thing too. It's like you're making the changes and you're keeping them in like the tracking, but you're not pushing anything, right? You're not making any changes to the upstream stuff.
Right.
So it's
That
nice
makes
in that
sense.
context.
Okay,
And
so
yeah, definitely don't do it right now. Like just toy around with it later. Just figured I'd mention it.
yeah, it's a good thing to look into. So I think what we've determined here is fully qualified name is our problem. I mean, I think we're both pretty solid on that, right? That's something's not happening there that needs to be happening there.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what happened, but you have gotten very, very quiet.
Interesting. Is my mic get bumped? Is that better?
You're still very quiet. You're way quieter than I am.
Um, let's see. How about now?
Do it again.
Hello, hello. Test.
You're still super low.
Uh,
That's weird because you weren't low earlier. You were as loud as I was.
yeah. Let's. All right. I can do this. I just hope it doesn't deafen anyone.
Now crank it up. Crank it up.
It's not letting me.
Crank up the output volume.
Hello, hello.
That's still pretty bad.
Ooh, that was me. That was my ears.
Oh, what is this? Is this the settings in
This
Zoom?
is Zoom. Yeah. Let's. It is not wanting. Like it moves a little bit, but it's really slow.
Weird.
I might need to reboot after this. Huh. Alright,
Reboots for good measure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we can limp our way the rest of the way, and hopefully, is it loud enough?
I don't know. I'm not sure what in view listeners are actually hearing. So, I'm looking through my stuff too to see if there's any setting that I ought to make or tweak or something. Because yeah, that's really weird. You were basically at my same volume at the beginning, and now you're like literally 50% quieter than I am, which may be
automatically adjust microphone settings. How is that?
okay. That's moderately better, but now you're cracking up.
So I'm clipping.
Yeah, just leave it up pretty high, but just move it down like 5% or whatever.
Yeah, let's try that.
There you go. That's better.
All right. We'll roll with that for now, and
Yeah,
I don't know what the deal is there.
Just keep going. We'll keep going.
All right. So from this here, this is the next part I just don't understand. So promise, I obviously understand that it's a guarantee that something will happen, and I'm going to wait for that thing to happen, right?
Right.
So when that thing happens, then I enact everything down here. So apparently, right, and please jump in, correct me if I'm wrong here. Apparently that event happened, but it didn't actually have our fully qualified name there, right?
That's what it seems like.
Or at least an incorrect name, an invalid name of some kind, or something was screwy with that. So
yeah, which is making me think that. So because of that. Yeah, it's not connecting to the thing that it needs to connect to because it's either not getting or it's getting a wrong fully qualified name.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what I just realized? All right. So, this is our actual export function, yada yada yada, fully qualified name, return, blah blah blah, right? We go over here, get gRPC client async. We have an empty, we're not passing. It's looking for something. We're not passing it.
Right, but is this yeah, what is it supposed to pass? Is it supposed to pass Cassandra?
Well, see, this is what I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it would be passing. This is the kind of thing Luke, the guy who programmed this up initially, would be able to probably just, hey, you need to put, this is what we're expecting. So here, let's try passing it Cassandra. Let me make sure I turn off all my dev code too.
I just looked, and your audio has literally just gotten quieter.
What?
Yeah. You were at like what would be negative 30 dB, and now you're at like negative 45 dB. You're peaking out at negative 45 dB, which on stream, you're probably like no one can even hear you.
I have no clue. What on earth? All right, sound settings.
Yeah, I'm looking at some other settings too. Yay for troubleshooting live. Test.
Hello. Yeah, I'm like all the way up on that. Ambient noise reduction. Let's try turning that off. All right, how am I doing now? Any better?
No, still down there at like. Oh, now you're at negative 40. Yeah, you're almost at negative 50 dB, which means you're practically off now.
Whatever. But you can hear me, right? Whatever. But you can hear me, right? Whatever. But you can you hear me or?
Wow, that's some awesome repeat.
Can you hear me or?
You're on loop now. Wow, that's some awesome repeat.
Can you hear me or?
You're on loop now. Wow, that's some. Okay, I fixed it.
Can you hear me or?
You're on loop. I took. Okay, I fixed it. Your channel. I just cranked your channel. Your
okay.
channel and yours is
well,
okay.
hopefully that doesn't keep dropping, cause.
Okay. And yours is
well,
okay.
hopefully that doesn't keep like dropping. I have no clue on that. That's weird. I have no. Okay, so.
Oh, you gotta mute your.
Okay.
Twitch stream now, though. Oh, you gotta mute your.
No, I don't have a Twitch stream
Twitch
going.
stream now, though. Oh, you gotta mute your.
No, I don't have a Twitch stream going.
Oh, so now I gotta figure out where that is. Oh,
To the background
hold on.
somewhere. Yep.
To
the background somewhere. Yep. To the background somewhere. Yep. While you do that, I'm going to test the theory we just described. While you do that,
Do
I'm
it.
going to test the theory we just described. While you do that,
Do
I'm
it.
going to test the theory we just
I guess everybody gets to hear you and me repeat ourselves 50,000 times everything we say until I figure this out. 50,000 times everything we say until I figure this out. 50,000 times everything we say until I figure this out. Oh. I think I got it. Yep, fixed it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, and your audio is still up. Okay, that's cool.
Perfect. All right, so I am going to go refresh this page, and this probably won't work. This is purely validating a theory. Oh, see the error we got?
Has not been loaded. That's funny.
Boom. But with name Cassandra. So right here is where we actually get to specify our service names. Now, there's a whole component of, I need to probably ask Luke, unless I want to spend hours banging my head against the wall, what he was looking for here. Or actually, hold on. We've got a trick up our sleeve. Visual Studio Code. Right. Yes, my Visual Studio Code. Come on. Let's see if this actually loads. Code hates me for some reason, or Visual Studio does. So I have his original project here before we started refactoring.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can just dig down into that a little bit. Oh, that's a whole Go project I was working on. Open.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
So readable.
Infinite amounts of problems with that. Okay. GitHub. Oh, wait, no. I need to go Documents, GitHub.
We should do a stream on some Go coding, hacking on Cassandra sometime soon.
I would love to learn how to, like, I'm just trying to learn basic Go. That's my goal. All right, so opening up the project here, give it a second to think. I am so very close to getting a new Mac or laptop when things roll around for my 3-year anniversary at the company. Okay, so now I've got to figure out how to actually search in this. Where do they hide search? Terminal. Probably under edit. Yeah, find. Okay, let's find. That's just local. Oh, they actually have it right there. Huh. Get gRPC client async. All right, let's see all of the occurrences for that, and let's see how he's actually calling that. Fully qualified, fully qualified, fully qualified. None of those are what I wanted to see. See, factory.js. That's one we don't actually have anymore, from my understanding. Let's take a look. Return and ensure memoized. Interesting. Interesting. Where is this being called? Service client async. Come on. Well, it's going to make me actually search it the long way. All right, get through. Okay. Comment server. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, so let's find where this is defined. This is where we're really digging into the good stuff here. Cons proto path, comment service proto, export cons comment service. Okay, where's our directory tree here? We're in services, source server services. Okay, so it should just be under. Don't want to do that. Under our current project, should be under a services folder. Now, let's go here. Do we have the services folder? If not, we do not. Okay. So that is where our proto definitions are. And protos, as we discussed last time, are basically just object definitions or similar to object definitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to
At
do,
least I think so.
well, let's hope. What we need to do is actually go in over here. We're going to documents. We're going to go GitHub. We're going to go into the old project. And this is basically one of those nice little refactoring things where we are missing source, server, services. All of these files. And I don't really want to just add them all, but
we're missing these? Why are we missing these?
So one of the things to get it to compile that I had to do just to when we did the huge node iteration was I had to kind of rip out a whole bunch of stuff. And then part of what we're doing here, so we changed the way the server runs entirely. We're running on Apollo server. I think it was on Express originally. So everywhere we were calling any of these got removed. Yeah. And if there was no reference to them, then I removed it just to help with the compiling and declutter. So,
interesting. Okay.
So I've got to add this back in. And what I'm going to do is take services, going to go actually here, going to go source. And I am going to drop a services folder in here. And what that will give us, let me close this over here. What that will give us is, give it a second to realize that it has more stuff. Refresh here. Solvers, utils. Oh, come on.
Are you sure it's in the right directory?
Because
it should refresh faster than that.
I totally dropped it in the wrong folder. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
That was the wrong place. Okay, so we're actually going to go to microservice server because that is the correct place. We're going to go in here and we're going to drop it there. All right. And give it about 2 seconds and boom. Ha! Progress. All right. So now what we can do to get this whole thing working, let's see, we want to do, let's just do suggested videos. So this, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is completely education for me at this point. These are proto definitions, right? This is where we're actually defining all of the structure things.
Okay. Wait, so and also you said you took this out because of why again?
So when I went and did the refactor, one of the things we did was we moved from Express server to Apollo. Right. And when we moved there, I started from scratch with Apollo. I didn't try to refactor the whole thing into Apollo and Express because honestly, I didn't understand Express and Apollo well enough to try and take that on. So I just started building a new Apollo server. So all the references to the things in the service folder went away.
Gotcha. So, question of context. Why did we go to Apollo from Express?
Oh goodness, that was like a year ago now. Honestly, I don't remember the reason behind it. I think it had to do with something about a library that was available for GraphQL and Apollo, but not Express or an integration that was important. And I couldn't for the life of me tell you which one.
Okay.
But there was a like legitimate reason at one point. Let me actually reopen the project here because I want to check one last thing. Open. I closed it too early. I have open recents right there, but that's okay. Web, boom, go, and okay. So last thing I'm going to check here in our Git gRPC client. I want to see what all the ones we're calling are, because that should tell me a little bit more than we know right now. There's factory, there's client, we're not export function, and that's the code we've been dealing with. So up here, we have this right here. Okay. So, factory.js. Let's figure out what this file is. Bluebird. Ho, do we have this file? Because we need to be calling
There we go.
get service client async, get instead of get gRPC async. Okay, and this is in services.
I'm really tripped out that we didn't get way more errors, considering we just re-added this code. Oh, and one other thing, I'm gonna pause us here.
Yep.
Even though we seem to be making some progress now.
Yeah, let me do one thing here really quick, because
okay,
this
go
could
for
solve all our problems like right off the bat, and it would be so cool. Going that, we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna go up here, and we're going to say, it's get boom. We don't actually need this anymore because that was from some previous garbage we were dealing with. And this is not going to be utils. This is going to be services and factory. Factory. I know we're almost out of time, so I'll be as quick as I can here, and then just check adding in the.
And I want to make sure that we get the next scheduled thing on the calendar.
Yes.
For everybody.
Yes. Import. What are we calling it? Okay, well, we'll have to end there. We do need to get the next thing scheduled. Let me hit run on this just to make sure behaviors are what we expect them to be. And then let's get the calendar set up. So that is thinking. Whoa, npm error. Okay. Could not find. So now we have a dependency issue, which is fine. We can tweak that out next time. Actually, I wonder. Yeah, well, we can deal with that next time. There's always the just one more thing. It's Minecraft syndrome, just one more block, just one more block, just one more.
Yeah. Gamification at its best.
Oh, exactly. So, all right, let's get something on the calendar here. For next week.
Yeah, I'll tell you what here.
Try. Are you? I
well,
have
I guess
your calendar.
If you're showing everybody your calendar, then that's fine. But I was gonna say, pull up the DataStax events calendar. I'm sending it to you right now.
Oh yeah, I do have. How about this? We're both free Thursday around. We can do 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. That work? My time, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So that would be like 12 to 2.
Hold on, let me pull up my actual calendar.
Yep.
Oh, I see all the Twitch streams.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen there. Just
now everybody gets to look at you.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna see. Let's see. How do we do the Zoom? There, everybody can look at me in my beautiful Seattle background. Because I'm,
there you go.
Man, if anybody actually knows,
right now, right?
Do what?
I said you're totally outside right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say if anybody knows Seattle though, they know sure as hell I'm not sitting right where this picture is taken, because that's where all the crackheads are. It's not a pleasant little corner, but it's a pretty picture because it's got the train station clock tower right there, which is cool. But
Right.
yeah. So what time did you say Thursday? Oh, and you're speaking from what, Central Time?
Yeah. So it would. I'll convert it to your time. So it would be 12 to 2 your time, Thursday.
Let's say. Yeah, we could do 12 to 2, 12. Yeah, that works. That works.
Perfect. All right, I will move it. So this event only, boom. Invite has been sent. Or actually, you declined it already.
What?
But I just moved the meeting. I just dragged it.
Oh, I didn't decline nothing yet.
Oh, I declined
even,
it.
I was
I
just
declined
saying,
it.
I
Yeah,
haven't even
no,
seen it pop up.
It's like, wait, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. My bad, my bad. All right.
All right, where is it? I'm waiting for it to pop up. I'm looking at my calendar right now.
Should pop up any second here. You're definitely on. I just double checked.
Come on, Google Calendar. Go fast. Go super fast.
I wonder if I can publish change owner. Ooh, I can copy to the events calendar. I'm going to put it on the Academy events calendar because it is an Academy event, right? This is Academy Twitch.
Yeah. So, and this is going to be, our next one will be episode 4 of us working on this upgrade.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to put it on the Twitch calendar for this Thursday. Excuse me. And we are going to start at, I'm going to put 12. God darn it, I got the hiccups. I'm going to put 12:30 when we'll actually be live.
Cool.
And starting.
So
but
yeah,
we'll meet a
you and
little
I'll have
earlier,
to
make sure.
Pop on earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
That works. All right. Well, we made good progress here. This is
volumes.
Yeah, right. Some good progress though, untangling everything. This is man.
You know, it's
quite an effort.
It is, but it's, you know, it's quite an effort, but it's kind of awesome to go through things from this perspective. I would say I have a very, very distinctively, how should I put it, determined opinion that coders everywhere working on everything need to read existing code more often.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because to put it bluntly, we're all super horrible at reading other people's code. And,
Yes.
you know, a lot of the time it's even like, oh, well, they didn't use clean code or something. Well, no, it's just because everybody writes stuff differently. And if you're not used to looking at somebody else's code base, then it looks crazy. So,
Right.
you know, you got to get good at just looking at crazy code that doesn't make sense to you and figuring out how to make sense of it.
Yep, picking it apart. Yeah, that's how I learned C++, was refactoring older monolithic program into something slightly less old and slightly less monolithic.
Yeah. Yes, Killrvideo code base.
Okay.
All right, it's in there, and now I need to find. I need to make a new logo that's cool actually got Node.js on it, so it's easier to eyeball it when you're trying to set a reminder or whatever. Awesome, man. Well,
wonderful.
Have a good one. I'm going to go eat lunch, not right here where this picture is, and get some good grub. And I'm going to find a better picture that's more representative of where I'm actually at, because where I'm actually at would make a way better background than that.
Yeah.
So, cheerio.
All right.
Have fun.
Catch you later, man.